Shanti and greetings of peace. It's a pleasure once again to have you joining us for this session on courage versus fear. We all know that any positive virtues, any positive thoughts, and in general, positive energy is both empowering to the body as well as to the mind. We already know this general principle of life. We also know the impact of negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, and vibration, the impact it has both on our body as well as our mind. We can go a step further and understand that negative or positive energy impacts our relationship. But even more than that, it affects plants, animals, and all other forms of life force on our planet. We can even go further and say that positive or negative energy impact the atmosphere and ultimately our planet. And so since we already know that, we know that fear has no logic. It is a setback. It is negative. It cripples our mind. And we know courage. There's a beautiful saying that you have to jump off the cliff and be who you were born to be. Meaning that whatever your purpose here on this planet, in order to achieve it, you have to jump off that cliff. I'm saying these words because I know of a gentleman I met many, many years ago in London. I knew him during my entire stay there. And at some point, he was quite a lively, very enthusiastic individual. And then at some point in his life, he got cancer. And it's amazing that though he was affected by that disease and ultimately he passed on, and during that process of his illness, he had lost a lot of weight and all the other things that go with cancer. And yet his spirit, his mind. So it was he who wrote the words that we have to jump off that cliff and be who we were born to be. He wrote a beautiful song, and a professional singer, Lucinda, she sang the song the day we were able to say goodbye to him. So incredible was his spirit, Incredible was his mindset. Incredible was his outlook in life, that living and dying, he maintained at all times. Enthusiasm and zeal. And he left the world with a legacy that we only remember. We didn't remember his illness and how he left. We just remember that face that was always smiling, the words that was always empowering. The globe is confronted with such invisible, literally speaking, an invisible negative force we call the virus. And though I say negative, because for many people, this is our attitude towards the virus. We either have fear, or when we refer to it, we refer to it as something that is negative. And yes, that's one way to look at it. But when you look at all our front-line workers, medical personnel, the medical staffs at all the hospitals around the globe, how much they have to emerge courage and faith in themselves, faith in God, faith in the universe. Every day when they get dressed to go to work, you can imagine they are going to confront something that is so dangerous and such impact having across the globe. They are playing with a situation of life and death. And yet they brave that storm every morning. And they've been doing that for almost a year now. So this is a situation in the world today. And if now, at this time, we don't emerge our courage, then I don't know what situation will have to come in order for us to emerge courage. And one of the ways to look at life in general, we have what we call atomic energy. And science is using and refining that energy. And because of that, we have many, many very good facilities because of refining energy. So there's so much benefit in atomic energy. And yet that same energy, if it is in the hands of the wrong person with the wrong mindset, it can be detrimental to the planet and to our human existence. We have another kind of energy in the world, far much more impactful, far much more powerful, that can travel at a much faster speed than any energy, whether it's atomic energy or whether it's our wireless set that we have. We have the rocket of the mind. And with our mind, we can heal ourselves. We can transform a situation from negative to positive. We can restore back health, both in our mind as well as in our body, if we use our mind, the energy of the mind, in a constructive manner. Ultimately, these two energy, atomic energy, and what they refer to soul's energy, it's interesting to note that the Hindi word for soul is Atma. So we have atmic energy and atomic energy. And these two energy one day very soon will come together and create that world that we all longed to have, the world that we refer to heaven, the world that we refer to as the Garden of Eden, the world that we refer to as paradise, the world that we refer to as the El Dorado city of gold. That world is in the making, and these two energies need to come together to create such a balance that we'll have a planet that is replenished. We'll have the element at its best. We'll have a body that will be free from disease. It will be an accident-proof world, a healthy world, a world where there's prosperity at all levels, a world where human beings will be so prosperous, healthy, contented, and our relationship will be tip-top. Our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with each other, our relationship with matter, our relationship with all forms of life. There will be harmony. And that's the world in the making. And for us to achieve that world, we have to emerge our courage. Because there are people who say, I want to go to heaven, but they're not ready to die. There are people who say, I want a better world, but they are not ready to create a better self. So there are three things that in order to get a better world, we need a better self, a better relationship, and a better environment. Amongst these three, the first and most important one is a better self. In order to achieve that, we will be challenged. Our values will be challenged. Our belief system will be challenged. We'll have to get out of our comfort zone. We'll have to plunge. We'll have to scale heights in order to come to that better self that will guarantee that we will stay positive, happy, regardless of what is happening around us. Life presents these challenges only with the intention to give us chance to practice. And at this moment, this is one of the opportunity. Everyone across the globe is given the same examination. And this test paper is that we have to do something different, something that we have never done before. There's a saying that if you want to get something that you've never gotten before, you have to do something that you've never done before. When I look at the situation today, there's one major lesson that we can take from this tiny virus, so tiny and yet so powerful. So we have to see how powerful and how subtle it is, and yet it has brought the world literally to a standstill. So what about the soul within all of us? What about the mind within all of us? What about the thoughts that we can create within all of us? how much more powerful and subtle and tiny the soul is described as an infinitesimal point of light, non-physical, has no geometrical dimension, cannot be weighed, cannot be measured, cannot be seen, cannot be held, cannot be burned, cannot be destroyed. What about that energy? And if we are first of all aware of who I am and stay true to my values, then there is no virus that is man-made, or no virus or no form of energy that can combat, destroy the power of the soul. So this is a time for us to recognize, no matter what energy comes and how negatively powerful they could be, it cannot touch my mind. It cannot touch the soul. If I can really understand the scale of who I am and what my power is, then I will never, ever entertain something called fear. You have such humongous power. And if we can emerge that power, we can stay beyond the impact of anything negative. And we have seen so many experiment has been carried out in which they have put together individual and they just tell them that this tablet is going to make you well, and they believe in that and they get well, even though the tablet was just sugar pill. The power of the mind and the power of our thought. We know no matter what surgery we go through, best surgeon, best medical attention, and if we don't believe we can get well, none of that works. And we don't have any of that. And we decide to heal ourselves. We can do that only with the power of thought. So tonight, I just want to remind all of you, reinforce the awareness of the power that we all have. And if we emerge that power, nothing, absolutely nothing negative can touch us, let alone harm us. My happiness or sorrow is only and solely in my own hands. No one is responsible for it. So as soon as something happens, I just have to remind myself that who in the world is worth my happiness if not me? Should I give my happiness away and be unhappy because of someone else or something else? No. And this is not my story. This is everyone's story. So no virus can get the better of us. But what has happened? We have gotten so comfortable in life. We took everything for granted. We have tampered with nature and abused nature. Whilst there is more than 7+ billion people in the world, and more than half of them do not have food, we have been overeating, not just eating our share. So something must wake us up. Something must come to tell us that this world is not yours and yours alone. I remember the story of these 12 young boys from age 11 to 16. I'm sure it's a story that all of you will remember. 12 young boys, 11 to 16 years, with their coach, They were caught in a cave. They went in with the intention to spend 1 hour. They left their bike and their bags outside, and they went in. And they were caught because of heavy rainfall. Stayed in that cave from 23rd June to 2nd July, when they were found, only found. So 11 days, they had no food. Unfortunately, because of the same rain that caused them to be trapped, that same rain was providing drips and drips of water that was falling from the mountain. And within the cracks, they were getting those drops of water. And for 11 days, they had no food. And they meditated. They knew how to meditate. They were meditating, and they meditated. And they stayed together. I was following that situation. I was so curious, but I was sure as daylight, that they're going to come out successfully. I knew that because I challenged God. I said, God, if you are telling us to meditate, and these children were doing that, and the people, the whole country was engaged in meditation, and if you don't allow these children to survive, then who's going to believe in meditation? So I challenged God, and I was following that story. And finally, they were found. The whole world came together, divers from all over the world, Australia, British. The first diver that found them is a British diver, and he couldn't believe when he asked how many of them, and they said, we are 13. And he couldn't believe they were all alive. And it took not just the 11 days, it took more than 2 weeks for them, because they had to make sure they had medical supply, food, they were fit, and then they could not dive by themselves. They had to be tied on the back of one diver, experienced diver, because it's many hours. Interesting story, I'm sure. I'm not telling you news. And they came out. So I was thinking, how much food do we really need? We can't do without fresh air or air by itself for longer than 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we can faint. We can't go below certain degree, minus or plus heat or cold. We may be able to stay without water for 6, 7, maximum maybe 10 days. But food we can stay for many weeks without. And yet, what do? We eat so much. We waste so much. And whilst we waste so much food and eat more than our share, then we are creating serious account with humanity, those brothers and sisters in the world who are starving. We are creating an account with humanity. Little do we know that when we overeat, we feel heavy, we feel sluggish, we put on weight. There's a burden. And every time we eat too much, we know this is not right. We shouldn't be eating that much, but we do that. What about throwing food away? Whilst our brothers and sisters don't have one meal per day. And so when we see how much we are doing things unaware the impact it's having on our world today. We each one want our own car. We have several cars, and we are polluting the atmosphere. So when we are confronted with settling of karma by the 5 elements, then we say, I'm afraid this virus, this earthquake, this fire, this pollution is affecting us. but we are not aware that we are contributing to it. So we need to get out of that comfort zone. We need to use minimal. We need to use just our share and help the nature to rebalance, to help nature rebalance. We have to do something that we've never done before. That whilst we wait for this virus to go, and we hope we will stay unaffected, instead of waiting in our comfort zone, we need to get out of our comfort zone and do something that we've never done before. And that is think about the rest of our human family. Think about the world. Think about the waste. Think about the extravagant attitude we have in life, because we need to rebalance the planet, and we need to create a relationship with humanity, a harmonious one. We need to create a harmonious relationship with nature, the 5 elements. We need to create a harmonious relationship with everyone and everything. Then we will restore back our dignity, because by nature we are kind, by nature we are generous, by nature we are compassionate, by nature we are merciful. And for whatever reason, we get caught up into this material spin, and we've lost touch of our true values. And once I can spend some of my time, my thoughts, my money, my energy in whatever form, beyond myself, beyond my small unit, family unit, and extend some of that for the benefit of others. That's what the world is asking us to do. Just like these frontline workers, these medical personnel, the high risk they take, but they have to take it. And they're taking it. And some of them are not surviving, and some of them are surviving. So we need to do that. There is a deep connection between the body and nature, because this body is 5 elements. Repeatedly, I will say, every time I have a session, literally, I remind you, all 5 elements that make up this body is belonging. The 5 elements is what we call nature, what we call matter. And therefore, what I use these 5 elements in the form of the body to do, my eyes, my ears, my mouth, how I use all of them, the thought I create, it affects, it creates an imbalance, and we need to bring back that balance. And so it's not fair that only frontline workers or some other individuals who are engaged in helping those who are sick and dying, it's not fair that they should be doing and we should be just sitting comfortably waiting for magically the virus should go away and we should get on back with our life, come back to a state of normalcy. There's no normalcy unless we bring back our normal and our original state of thinking and being. We have to emerge compassion. We have to emerge courage. We have to go out there and help somebody, call up somebody, take care of somebody. Here in St. Martin, I know we don't go out on the balcony and clap like they did in Spain. And so many parts of the globe, they are doing that. But we have to not sit and wait. We have to do something. If we don't do something, nothing will change. We'll have to live in fear. We don't want to live in fear. It's not normal. But I'm appealing to every one of you tonight as you listen. Do something that you've never done before. Help someone in whatever way. And when you give, you're not going to be without. Never is the law that you give and you will be left without. The law is, it is in giving you receive. Do something for somebody else and create such a powerful atmosphere that this virus will bow out. And just like how the soul gives life to the body and make this body function, all elements, when they are in harmony, when we, the human, the living beings, send out the right energy in the atmosphere, there will be no virus, there will be no illness, there will be no disease. None of them will happen when we are in balance, we are in harmony. So if I want to protect myself from any form of illnesses and viruses, I have to contribute actively to making some change, help in the task of rebalancing the world. I remember when we were little, we waited all year long for Christmas to come by, and then we will get our new toy, one toy, once a year at Christmas. Throughout the year, there is no reason, no festival that we get toys. We get toys. And toys are displayed in the store during Christmas. But the rest of the time, we were outdoor. We were playing. We were bruising our knees, climbing trees, picking green fruits, picking flowers, making all sorts of doll house. And we used to have so much fun. And today, we keep buying, and then children use it for 2 hours, 1 week, max 1 month, and then we pack it in the corner. And one day we give it to Salvation Army if we can, or we have to dump it because it becomes too much clutter. So much we shop, so much we buy, and we don't realize that we are depleting the planet. And are those children happy with those toys, and for how long? And they don't know and understand the value. But it is material. It is material. It is depleting the element. And we buy and discard. And one day our planet is in imbalance. So now we have to take stock of why we go through, why the earth is so depleted, and what we need to do in order to rebalance the world. We all have to be responsible. And start by living, just at least try it out. During the state of where there is this time when we're going through this virus, millions of people have lost their jobs, so they have no income. They're being evicted from their house. So now we need to help. Do something that you haven't done before. Everybody collectively can create such a powerful atmosphere of harmony, of kindness, of compassion, so that we create such a healing atmosphere that everyone will stay safe. Everyone who is sick, they can come out with flying colors, and the virus have no place to stay, to grow. It will return back. It will balance back itself, because it is an imbalance that is creating all these kinds of diseases and illnesses. around the globe. So all of us must start by eating, live with basic. And I know you must be thinking something is crazy about me. Why am I telling you that? Would you do it? I can only encourage you. I can only explain to you why we need to bring some balance back to nature, to the planet, and our relationship with human beings should be such that every time I eat, I think about those who don't have food. You know, our organization has always encouraged us, miss a meal at least once a week. At least miss a meal. Give your stomach rest. Give your body rest. But not just that, think about those who don't have. And if we all collectively do something different, the universe will respond accordingly. They say you take one step towards God, and He will take 1,000 steps towards you. The universe is giving us a chance to regain our balance, to renew our relationship with matter, to go within ourselves and redevelop those qualities that we have that is latent, dormant, and sleeping, like kindness, forgiveness, compassion. It's there within us. Can't we not emerge it at this time? Can't we not emerge compassion for the planet, for nature, for humanity? Can we not spare a few minutes every day to meditate and send such powerful thoughts to all the people who are exposing themselves in doing their jobs? They are exposing themselves to a life-death situation, only to heal. Like in some places, they're encouraging us to use masks, to practice hygiene, to practice social distance. We all need to adhere to the rules. That's our sign of our expression of compassion. That's our expression of love. If we follow the rules, do the right thing. And once we are able to do that, then we are going to re-emerge our spiritual power. And this virus is a physical power. And when we emerge our spiritual power, we can conquer all other forms of energy or power that exist in the world. When we do that, we'll feel good, we'll feel satisfied. That is what is going to give us peace of mind. That is what is going to give you happiness. So tonight, I'm talking about another form of courage, a courage to do the right thing, a courage to bring out your true values. And our true values is truth, love, forgiveness, and I have mentioned all the others. Bring that out and use one of them every day or every week, and see when somebody you haven't spoken to for a long time, or you haven't met for a long time, or you didn't call up for a long time, this is the time. You know, since we were children, we were always taught that when there's an omen, and we say omen means something that is happening in our community, in our village. In those days, it was when too many people were passing away. Then the village used to come together and do prayers. The entire village will come together and do prayers so that bad omen will pass over and everything will be fine again. So this is an omen that is hanging over us like a dark cloud. all over the globe. And it is our responsibility to help in clearing that omen. And just like how when the virus started some months ago, and the people were taking their pots and pans and they were banging to create a sound, and that sound will spread out. That is a sound, physical sound. What about if we all collectively create the same kind of thoughts, same kinds of thoughts, and same kind of concern, and same kind of responsible attitude, and same kind of consideration for humanity, for planet? If we all do that collectively, how long it will take for the world to be rebalanced? Think about the less fortunate one. Every time you think of overspending and collecting and shopping and accumulating, think about children who have not had one single toy in their lives. Think about how people are affected by the climatical conditions because of the depletion of the elements, and how many physical things we have, how many physical facilities we have, more than our share. And it is as a result, there is an imbalance in our planet. So I hope this talk tonight will get you out of your comfort zone and you take the plunge and do something you've never done before. And that something should involve other human beings like yourself, beyond your family, beyond your inner circle. Think beyond yourself, just for this few months until we can rebalance the planet and bring stability again, whether in terms of health for all, long life and health for all, and prosperity for all, but a planet that is not depleted, rather a planet that is replenished. And always remember that the most powerful energy is in your hand, and that is the energy of the mind, energy of your thought. Do something. Don't wait until this virus has come with a humongous purpose, and that is to make us take those steps and bring back balance and stability to our planet and to all our brothers and sisters who are desperately needing what they deserve. Let's think about them, because I know that has to happen. That will happen. Virus or no virus, lockdown or no lockdown, I'm coming from a space that my life and my living is not in the hands of human. It's in the hands of God, and it is in the hands of my own karma. And if we, all of us, have that kind of attitude, that nothing and no one can touch me, let alone harm me, and I will always be provided with enough food to eat and enough to live, not to waste. Definitely, this is my story. And I want to encourage you to make your story too. We all have our stories. Do something that you never did before. And you will tell me one day soon that the virus have gone. It's no longer here. It's not affecting me nor my family because I have done what I need to do. As many of you to join us regularly, only so that we can collectively create an energy here on the island. You're going to take that energy in your home, to your family, and I want you to extend it beyond. Thank you very much.